can I tell you why I love your show?
Yeah.
I love your show because it's just so well written. It's like three of the most dynamic, best written female characters I've seen in television in quite some time. And it's going to blow people away. You three are terrific in the show. It's coming to HBO Max May 13th. So what attracted you guys to the role besides the writing?
For me, I mean, I just thought it'd be so much fun to play the character. I mean, I always thought it'd be fun to play a comic. And when I was a kid, I kind of wanted to be a stand-up comic. And I'd never played a part like that before, which is always an attraction for a role. Everything about it, the auspices, the producers, everything was just like right. It was just perfect. And I knew it was HBO. It was going to be done well. And it ticked every box. But the role. It's the role, yeah.
Hannah?
Likewise. Absolutely everything that Jean said. And also, like the Ava, the character, is someone that I feel like I know, and I feel like, I mean, at least in like a surface level, like in a surface level way, we are very similar. And I felt like, oh wow, this is like a way to, although our emotional truths are different, this is someone I feel like I identify with, and I want this person on.
Kaitlin?
Well, I was very excited that Paul Downs and Lucia Agnello and Jen Statsky created this show. I'm a big fan of theirs, and the writing is unbelievable, and I jumped at the chance to work with Jean. I'm also always looking for something different. This is very different from Sweet D and different from Mickey. I thought it was really funny, and there was a chance to make it special, and also an opportunity for some real emotion, which I haven't been able to do on camera at least. So it was exciting.
Was there a moment that any one of you just kind of had just this thought that like, wow, this just feels special? Because as I was watching the episodes that we were given before the junket, I just was like, wow, this is a very special project. And they had to know at some point, there had to be a moment where it just kind of popped in your head.
I think for me, it was a bunch of little moments. Like every time I was able to, when I met Kaitlin and started with Kaitlin, I felt this is special. When I met Jean and started with Jean, I felt this was special, and so on with every single person in the cast. I don't know if there's a specific moment. It just kept dawning on me because every day I went to work and felt lucky.
In that scene where Ava and Deborah meet for the first time at Deborah's house, that was actually the audition scene. For the Avas that were auditioning. And it's such an important scene, and we worked up on that one probably more than any other scene in the show. And that one felt good. I mean, that one felt like, yeah, we've got something good here.
Kaitlin?
I'm glad you asked that question because, first I came in late. I'm just guest starring on this show. So I came into something that was already up and running. I was very pleasantly surprised by how delightful everyone was. It was clearly very collaborative and very well run. I got to kind of play around, which I like. So I was having fun, and I was noticing like, oh, these people are welcoming and they're fun, and I'm having fun in between scenes. I had a kind of a special scene with Jean that's coming up in the 7th episode where had I been doing it with anyone else, I don't think that I would have been able to emotionally get to a place that I was wanting to. And so that was really great. So thank you, Jean, for that. But it was only when I was watching because you never know, you can be on a set and be like, this is fun, but I'm not in charge. I'm not in the editing room. I don't know what's going to happen. My husband and I watched 3 episodes back to back, and we're both snobs. And both of us were like, this show is really good and very special. So for us to both agree on that, we were like, wow, they've really made something great here. And I just was so proud to be a part of it. And I texted these 2 right away, and I was like, you did it. It's unbelievable. It's a great show.
About the only part that, I mean, there's a lot of parts that affected me, the range of emotions, etc. But I feel like your character has this thing against iPads, Jean. And I don't know. I mean, Jesus Christ, I love my technology, don't get me wrong, but you look like you're having so much fun destroying these perfectly capable. I mean, was that one take, two take? I mean, are you against technology personally, or?
I'm a bit of a Luddite. Yes, I great satisfaction heaving that iPad into the pool and my assistant to go to the computer store. My kids think it's hilarious because they know that's how I feel in real life too. So I go near technology and it malfunctions. I mean, my husband used to say that it's because it knows you don't like it. That it stops working when you get near it.
So that was a method moment per se, or I'm just guessing.
Never I have the guts to throw. I'm too Scottish to throw a piece of perfectly good equipment into a swimming pool knowing it's going to destroy it. But so no, because I always think, oh, I could always sell it. But so no, that I could never do. But I've wanted to on many occasions.
For each of you, we'll just go around. What was your favorite scene that you filmed? Is it something I've seen, or is it a scene that's coming later on? Is there one that sticks out to you? We'll start with Hannah.
My favorite scene. It's such a hard question. It's like when I think back on shooting, it really is. There is no moment where we are not laughing, unless there's, obviously if there's a dramatic scene, we give that. We allow space for that, but everyone on set is funny. The camera guys are funny, Christina, Joel, and Charlie, the camera operators, and the PAs and the gaffers, like the grips. Every single person is funny on set, and we just there. It's such a welcoming, loving, funny, and environment where I felt so comfortable. And so there are scenes that stick out to me. I think episode 6 that you saw when just sort of like some of the room service stuff around that, the Perla stuff, that stuff was just so chaotic.
Say that the scene where we go to the to the spa, as it were.
Yeah, that stuff is ridiculous and so funny, and we played a lot. We were able to improvise. I mean, the EPs gave us such freedom in that way in general, but yeah, it was so fun.
Kaitlin, you have a scene?
I always love screaming about a urinary tract infection. I mean, that's just that's a no-brainer. But I'm really excited about, I'm only in a few episodes, but I'm really excited about episode 7 because I get to do a little bit more, you kind of dig a little deeper into the root of the relationship between Deborah and DJ. So there was some stuff in that I mean, I haven't seen it yet, so it could be trash. I don't know. But I'm hoping that I'll be proud of it, and I'm hoping you'll like it.
Jean?
That's the birthday party, right?
Yeah.
So good. I was watching. I was there. I was sitting at the table. You were great.
Thanks.
Is there a favorite moment that sticks out in your head, Jean?
Oh gosh, there's just so many. I mean, I love my first scene meeting Ava's character. I like the scene on well, I love all the scenes where I'm doing stand up. I love the scene, just that short scene on the airplane. When it's Hannah's first time, or Ava's first time on a private plane. And I was kind of sorry that joke was in the trailer about.
I love it.
Not to use it, but that's one of my favorite jokes.
Now, obviously, Hannah, you have a background in this sort of thing with comedy and whatnot. Jean, you obviously have wanted to be stand-up at one point, and Kaitlin, you're obviously known for your comedic talents. What was each of your process for preparing for this? Like, what did you guys do to get ready before you shot? We'll start with Jean.
I don't really have a specific process. when I read a script, what's ideal is if I immediately hear that voice in my head, actually hear the character's voice. If I don't right away, then I know that it's going to be a more difficult job creating the character. And I just felt like she was pretty clear to me. I didn't approach it any differently. Bad answer, I'm sorry. I didn't really approach it any differently than any other role. I always let the script be my guide. And so I didn't really have any kind of a different way of dealing with this one.
Hannah?
One thing I did, aside from just like drilling the script into my brain so that I could then get a little loose with it, is I wrote jokes for I wrote jokes from her voice. So that was like the only like little thing that I tried to do to like really get more into her, aside from like, you know, feeling it all, I guess.
Kaitlin?
That's a lot more work than I did. I look, when it's Jean's right, when it's so well written, you kind of just get it. I have to say it out loud a lot and memorize it really well so I can completely let that go and then just say it in my own way or the way that I feel like my character would say it. But I was also very focused on like teen angst and like very hormonal teenagers who hate their moms, but in a 40-year-old woman's body. So I kind of, that's the way I approached this one.
Now, what do you guys hope that the fans get from this series? I mean, I have my own thoughts. I just thought it was this journey for these three strong women and just sort of an exploration moment for each of your characters. But obviously, going into it as artists, you probably have your own thoughts on the matter. What do you hope the fans get when they watch the series? We'll start with Hannah.
I hope they see themselves, and I hope they feel moved, and I hope they laugh.
Kaitlin?
I hope they see these three strong, independent women who fiercely want to be able to do it all by themselves, but embrace the idea that maybe it's okay to let somebody else in. And it's kind of nice to let like a different woman in, but also a different generation. Like it's really they're living three different lives, right? 20s, 40s, and whatever. I think Jean's like late 40s. But you know, being able to let other women in and who have their own perspective and team up and sort of feel comfortable letting your guard down, even though we want to do it all by ourselves, we don't need anybody. There's value in working together.
Jean?
Well, I think it's fun to watch these three women because they're all sort of flawed in their own way, and at different moments you want to comfort each one of them, and at other moments you want to slap each one of them. But hopefully the audience will just be so in love with the characters that it doesn't matter what we do or where we go, they'll want to come along for the ride and just know that this is going to be I'm going to sit down and watch this show and I'm going to have a great time.
I'm with you on all three fronts, but one part I enjoyed probably more so than I realized is hearing Jean drop F-bombs was just kind of like every time she cursed, for some reason, I just like started laughing. I mean,
delightful.
I mean, did you guys break every time she would like F this, F that? I mean, Lord, I mean, I know I laughed every time. I mean, geez, Louise.
I was like, this woman means business. Okay. Let me know, Jean.
Deborah Vance on the clock.
I have a thing about that word.
Go ahead.
To be honest, I've never said this. I don't mind. I don't use it. I use it as an expletive, not a verb.
Why is that?
It's just that prudish part of me.
Okay, well.
It's kind of meaningless. As a verb, it's very specific.
I see. I see your point. I see your point.